Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of CityZilla Plays City Skylines. And in this episode, we have finally reached Megalopolis. And so we are in the end game now. And what that entails is unlocking monuments, achievement hunting, or unique building hunting. But one of the biggest things that it unlocks is the bigger airports. The international airport, the cargo hub airport, which are both very important, especially for big cities. Transporting cargo within your city is a big part of this game, but it is something that we are going to set up on this episode. I kind of saved this space right here, especially with this freeway exit and entrance and the little monorail bus hub for us to be able to create the international airport, because we are gunning for 100% tourism city attractiveness. Having an international airport would be a big part of that, and so I think we're actually going to create a nice big area out of it. So first off, let's go over the unlocks. So we unlock all the squares, and I did go through into 81 tiles, unlock them all. The money really wasn't going to affect us a whole lot. The reason why I did it is because we were having that pretty common issue with our metro station, to where it sank down quite a bit and people weren't even using it anymore. Like, you can see all these people. This is only because I had to delete the entire metro system and replace it all. It took a lot of work, and in the future I'm not really sure if I'm going to utilize 81 tiles throughout. I may just add it in later in the game. I'm not sure if it will mess up the game if I do that, but having the whole system sink down was definitely an issue. That was the second time that I had to go through and delete everything. But as you can see, a ton of people are using it now, and so it's back to working. Our whole transit hub is still humming along pretty good. We got a few issues related to traffic, mainly this intersection right here. I went ahead and put in these bridges, but I think it's because we put these two intersections just a little too close together, and then combined with the tram usage coming down this road now, this whole area is just getting pretty congested. And so I think I put in a little standard light. I kind of played around with the time traffic lights, and it's just a really busy intersection. It might be an area where we end up turning it into a roundabout, but we'll just have to wait and see. And so a couple other issues. We were having some pretty bad flooding on these areas. I think it's related again to us kind of switching to the water towers. We were sucking up less water here, and so I had to raise up both the quay walls for these areas. This area was flooding pretty bad. Pretty much all the buildings were destroyed, and you can still see a lot of the flooding is still happening. I did end up raising this up to where once these demolish, this should fix the area a little bit, but I may need to come through and actually raise up the road too. And there we go. I just went through and leveled up the road. You can kind of see all those people just popping up out of the road, and this tram is messed up. He's like stuck in the ground. So is this guy. They're a little confused. It's going to take a second for them to kind of fix themselves, but what I'm hoping is that's going to create, it's going to fix a lot of our problems. You can see all these people leaving there. I'm not sure what's happening here. It's very interesting. These people are like flying up to this path. Apparently there is some sort of connection right here to where they can just kind of fly up there. That's convenient. I mean, I don't know how realistic that is, but look, there's even people coming down. Apparently this is just a path that's there. That's very funny. I hadn't noticed this before. But alright, we will leave those people to it. We don't want to get in the way of progress. If that is a path, then maybe they're going to save some time by taking that. And so, but all these buildings should grow back in, and what I'm hoping is that the flooding is going to be stopped now. And so let's go ahead and dive into what we were going to be doing. And so one of the first things I want to do is just go ahead and remove all these trees. I'm not going to remove them all, just the area that we're working on. You don't have to do this, but it does help out with the game running a little bit faster. Whenever you just tuck a bunch of trees under buildings, the game does still count them, and so it is something to keep in mind. And so we are going to remove these real quick because we're going to need to extend out the road And because of how closely we built these road pieces to the rail line, it's just going to be really hard. And so, alright, and so what I was thinking is we'll go ahead and grab this guy, and then we will just follow this out straight. And I don't want to go too crazy, but I do want to get out there enough to where we're not going to have to worry about it. Yeah, there you go. I think that's pretty good. And one of the things we're going to be doing on this episode as well is creating the airplane cargo hub. And so I think this area right here is going to work really well. We're going to have to set up our commercial goods warehouses since we still do not have any generic industry. And as you can see, just from deleting the generic industry we had, our industry demand has gone way up. And so we definitely need to lay down some offices as well in this episode. But we'll see if we get to it because this is going to take a little bit of time. And I really like how this turns out. I put a lot of time and effort into trying to come up with a unique way of building this, and so I really hope you guys like it. Monorail, and we're gonna do this guy, and we're just gonna go like right there, and then what I want to do, we're gonna kind of draw out something here. I actually think it's supposed to be 3, so it'll be 3. I think that might be too wide, but we'll see. It is pretty wide. And so I wanted to go for like a boulevard kind of look here. A lot of times with airports, you have a lot of one-ways and there's just a lot of traffic, and so they design them to be more efficient with dealing with traffic. And so one of the best ways to do that is by doing one-ways and loops and a bunch of different strategies that we're going to try to utilize. We're not going to get too crazy because obviously with our current transit setup, we're not going to have too many issues in regards to traffic, but we still want to set it up just in case. And so what I'm thinking is, you know what, I think we are going to have to level this area out first. Yep. And so I want to create a big enough space to be able to handle this guy. I'm thinking like right there, so maybe up by the trees. We'll choose this height. And because our town is focused on tourism, it's safe to assume that they would be spending a ton of money on grading this area out. And so I feel entirely justified in this. It is a lot of grading, but it's for the greater good, and so. And we're just going to remove these trees while we're at it. That's a really big circle. Huge circle. Works though. Okay, and so what I'm thinking, let's see if we can kind of get this straight. It's going to be hard to do this, but we'll see. Maybe if we just angle it a little bit. We'll go like right there. And I don't think it's perfectly straight, but I think it's going to work for our purposes. And so let's see. We're going to come up here and we'll probably stop like right there. And we'll go right there, and then let's go ahead and do some straight roads. I actually think this might work. I don't think it's going to be perfectly straight, but I think it's going to look good. I'll actually put this one back just a little bit. And we'll do that one too, because we need to come from this direction. And there we go. And let's see where this one goes. I have a feeling it's a little bit off. Yeah, it is, but it's not a lot. You really can't tell too much from on here. You can tell this side's just a little bit bigger, but I think it works for our purposes. And so what we're going to do is turn those into one-ways. And then we don't need this guy anymore. We're going to get rid of that. And then we're going to come in here We're going to join it up just like we would for like our starting road. And then there you go. We can turn this guy around by clicking the right click button. And there we go. And so I could unlock this piece and do the one ways. It's not super needed though, and so I'm just going to leave it at that. And what it does is it allows us the opportunity to connect off both sides of the road. And so what I'm thinking here is I want to do something unique. So I'm thinking we're going to come over here, and because I know I don't have the asset loaded in, I'm just going to copy this. It's kind of funny because I think it's just the find it tool that I have right now. Maybe I don't have the new update or something, because the asset is still here, so it means that it's loaded in the game, but I'm just having a hard time finding it, and so we're just going to copy it. And so I want this to be level with both the roads. There you go. Because parking garages are a big part of airports. Parking in general is a big part of airports. A lot of people leave their cars when they go on trips, or maybe even a loading area for people when they're picking somebody up. And so we want to try to fit that little mold. And so what I'm thinking is we're going to come up here. Here. And there you go. Again, it's a little off. You know what? It's so funny. I did that sideways. I was like, why is that way off? I meant to put it on this road. Yeah, it looks pretty good. And then now we can actually make this correct. And there you go. That looks pretty good. You can tell, I mean, it's a little bit longer on one side just from the way we set that up, but it's not a big deal. And so we are going to come in here, and I want to give this monorail access since we are so close to our monorail. And what I'm thinking is if we can squeeze in one of these guys, if I can click it. Yeah, you know what? I don't know if we're going to be able to, but let's see if maybe we can. We'll do like a little, yeah, like a cut in. I think that could look good. And then we will put the monorail piece on this, and I want to try to get it level. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then what I'm thinking is we will just use some path access in here, kind of clean it up a little bit. And there we go. I think that looks pretty good. And then I do want to clean up this side too. And we'll probably just put in like a little fence or something right here. I think that would look pretty good. Yeah, I think that'll. We could actually finish that road through. Should we do that? I don't know. No, I'd rather not have people turning in here, and so I think we're just gonna do a fence around this guy, and then we'll make it like a nice little rock garden. I think that would look good. You know, we can actually put our taxi stand right here too. And of course it doesn't fit. I wanted to do two anyways, since normally at airports, taxis are a really big deal, especially nowadays with Uber. I just want to fix this real quick. Yeah, there we go. That looks pretty good. Yeah, nice. And then we're not going to get too crazy with this, just a couple bits of foliage. Actually, probably just one. I think that looks good. And then we'll do like one bigger tree, maybe. I think that could look good. Maybe we'll do a colored one. Yeah, there you go. And then just a couple small little rocks. Yeah, there you go. Nothing too crazy, but it looks good. You'd have the monorail on the other side, and so what I'm thinking though is maybe we can put in a couple bigger rocks on this side. I think that would look pretty cool. I don't know if they're gonna fit though. I don't think so. And so we'll actually just do foliage and then some trees. Trees kind of give us an opportunity to make it a little unique too, so. And then maybe just a couple of the smaller rocks. We could probably do that, yeah. There you go. And then let's see about some trees. So we got the red one there. Let's maybe do these gold ones. So I really like color, especially when you're visiting a new city. This would just look really cool, and so I like to create that kind of atmosphere. I'll do that. Let's see if we can. There you go. And let's do the same thing over here. Yeah, that looks pretty good. It looks official. I really like doing this, like decorating kind of stuff. It's very creative, but then also allows you an opportunity to kind of, be imaginative in your own little space. It's nice. I enjoy it. And so I want to come to our, is it this guy? Yeah, we'll do a couple of those. They're the big ones. But then let's do something with this area. So we're going to have the monorail come through. Let's go ahead and hook up the monorail first, actually. Okay, come down here. And then come right here. I want to... Yeah, there you go. You can tell it's a little off center. I wish it wasn't like that, but I don't think there's too much we can do about that. And it's only a little bit of a curve, so I don't think it's too big of an issue. And we are going to cover it with trees as well, so I don't think it's going to be too big of a problem. Should it be these big ones or these? We'll do these ones. Yeah, there you go. And so now when you're taking the monorail over, you can have the trees around you, and it just looks really nice. I think we are going to probably do the same for this side too. Yeah, there you go. Just because it helps to kind of create a little bit of an atmosphere. And then I think for here we actually can put in a couple of the bigger rocks. Let's see if we can get this guy in. Yeah, there you go. Let's just put a little bit of foliage. Now let's put a couple bigger trees. Not very big, so we'll go just a little bit bigger. We could actually do, you know what, I think this would look cool. We'll do a couple of the little like orange trees. Just have a little bit of citrus. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. I like having these, what was it? Yeah, orange trees. Nice. And so I think that's probably pretty good. We do need to set up our metro real quick, though. Okay, and so what I did is I just hooked it up to our main hub, and then by starting the line on this side, it actually allowed me to put the train stop on the opposite side. And so let's go ahead and just designate metro lines, and so it's number 10. And what colors? I think we'll do like a light purple. I think that would be good. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Man, we got a ton of lines coming in here now, but we still got some empty spaces. So we got this one's got double, this one's got double, and then so this one's got an empty space, and then both of these have empty spaces. So we still have 4 lines that we could connect up to that to get it to with even more people. So what I'd like to see is ideally just so many trains coming in all the time. Like you can kind of see, I think it just looks really cool when you get all these trains coming in. And so I think that looks really good for this area. I definitely am happy with how it turned out. And now all we're kind of left with is what are we going to do with the space around it? And so what I'm thinking is I want to do something with tourism, leisure. We are still gunning for the 100%, and so we'll probably end up creating some neighborhoods around it. Because our city is kind of designed around these grids, we'll probably implement something like that. But I do want to create some through streets as well, because I think ideally, now that we've unlocked everything, we're going to kind of build over here. Our university is getting pretty full, and so I think we are now in a position to where we could start another university and be pretty good. And so I think that's what we're going to end up doing. We do need to hook this up with power though too. And so I think that right there looks great. And then what I want to do as well is do that cargo hub, because our farming area does not have train cargo access. And so I think this is just going to work out really well to make it into our nice little cargo hub airport. Let's see if we can smoothen this out just a little bit. There you go. I think we may still need to smoothen out that other side just a little bit more. Yeah, because I want to get it like right there. So we will extend out our little plateau. I think we're actually going to delete this road and then smoothen it out first. I think that would be smart. A lot of grading. Again, though, this would be a huge huge improvement for the city, and so I think they could justify doing the grading. Alright, and let's see if it fits. I want to do that one side just a little bit more. Really don't want our... Yeah. Yeah, there you go. I think that looks pretty good. And then what I'm thinking is we'll probably do a roundabout down here. Nothing too crazy, just a small one so that trucks can turn around. There you go. And then I also want to do... We'll do one like right there. I'm going to do some warehouses since we are definitely going to need them. There you go. And then what I'm thinking is we'll probably... Yeah, there you go. I don't like how close those are, but I think it's going to work out for our purposes, and so we are going to put 2 more warehouses over here. I think I'm going to move that roundabout just a smidge, because I want to get these close to each other. I want to try to look uniform, I don't want to have it off a little bit. I'd rather have them all like right next to each other. Yeah, there you go. I think that looks great, having the 4 right next to the cargo hub. And then we just have to do the train access, which I completely forgot about because this is actually pretty tight. But I think we'll still be able to get that in there. And you should probably turn off prop and tree anarchy. And there we go. And then what I'm thinking is we'll add in some freeway access right here too, because otherwise we might end up funneling this down. And so that's kind of why I did this little centered road. I think it would be great to have this as access. And so maybe we'll go up to 12. We'll come over here and we'll just follow our same kind of pattern. It's kind of like a sky bridge. It's kind of funny, I just did a little city tour in Buffalo, and they actually have a road like this that goes over their industrial area. It's actually really cool. It's called the Sky Bridge or Sky View or something, and I had accidentally stumbled across it, and it's just a huge land bridge. Cleveland has them as well, going over a lot of their train tracks. They have 2 really big bridges in their downtown area, and so I was like, oh, at least, you know, because it kind of reminded me of this, how we have this huge bridge just kind of going through our city, but cities do that, and so I was like, oh, well, that's cool to see. I thought it was just kind of a thing that I'd thrown in there, but no, a lot of times cities do the same thing. A lot of times when you're playing at a city, I'm guessing this happens in real life too, you know, they just, there's certain things that they weren't expecting, like maybe certain population growths in different areas that they were expecting, or different issues like that. Okay, and so I think that looks really good. I like how this turned out. We just need to connect up the train real quick. And I don't want to just throw this in here. I really want to have it fit in a way that's going to make sense for the area. And so I think what we're going to do, I want to come down, and then what I'm thinking is probably have this connect up in the middle. Because then it's going to be a little bit separated from this traffic. It'll only be the through traffic, which is mostly cargo. And then we will have this guy connect up right here. And then have it follow down just a little bit. And there you go. I do want to straighten this just a little bit. And there you go, and just make sure it's connected up. And there we go. I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and go into the network multi-tool though and make sure that we are just as smooth of a transition as we can get. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to do the same over here. Then I'm going to do the same over here. Because it is cargo, these would have a lot of tonnage and weight on them, and so making it up any sort of steep incline would be really challenging for these guys. And so we want to try to make it as easy as possible. And there we go, and I think we actually have some yeah, we have these warehouses right here that we can now get rid of. And so what we're going to do with these is set one of them up as animal products, set the other one up as flour, set this one up as commercial goods, and then set this one up as zoned industry farming. And so we're going to stick this one to empty. We're going to put the commercial goods to fill since we want to always have enough. And then we're going to stick these ones to empty because ideally what we want is for them to bring them over here. Yeah. We don't want them bringing them anywhere else. And so I think that's great though. And now we have good access. And so one of the things that I had done, I'd kind of dry fit a lot for a lot of these episodes, but now people over here will actually ship by train to over here to the cargo hub or to the farming area, and it just really makes the city a little bit more functional for your cargo needs. And so it's really smart. We're going to go ahead and hit pause while we're waiting to kind of troubleshoot these areas. What I want to do is lay down some office parks, and so I think this area would be really good for one. I'm not going to go too crazy with it because I do want to leave that space on the bridges, and so what we're going to do is probably go like that, and then I think we're going to fill in these little spaces right here because offices don't really care as much about the noise pollution, and so it's not a really big concern for them. But we'll go ahead and put that in as commercial right there. Maybe we'll do this one commercial too. And then that should satisfy some of our needs. I do want to fill in this as offices as well, but I don't know if I want to do any roads. Maybe we'll do like walking paths back there, and we'll just put offices on the main building. I think actually that could be smart. A frontage road would be good here, but because the freeway is right there, I would have to do another road. And so I think what we're going to do is first off delete our power lines because I don't think we need them anymore. We're going to check before we unpause again though, just in case we don't want to kill the city again. Yep, it's connected, and so those were just there for when we had started it out. And so let's see if that opened up any zoning. It did, which is great. And so now we don't have any need for commercial. We just have need for offices, and so I think this is going to work out really well. Right there. I think we might end up having to delete those corner guys, but I think for right now we're going to keep it at what it is. And we'll go like that, and then let's just put in some walking paths in here so that maybe there's some through access. I think that would be really good. Let's go in here. And there we go, and at least now there is a little bit of access for these people over here. Maybe we'll do that as well. And then I do want to just kind of put in some foliage, and then, yeah, I think this would look good. I think we're going to put a big rock here too, because why not? This would be like a nice walking area. Maybe we'll do another rock right here. And there we go. I think that looks pretty good. We're going to unpause it and just let that build out. I think we'll probably end up doing the same thing on this side since there is a little bit more space. Yeah, I think that would look good. We don't really have anywhere for the paths to go, but I think these paths are actually going to end up working out really well because they do cut in over here, which is access that these people didn't really have before. And so now, instead of having to walk all the way around, they can just cut through here, which is really smart. Let's see if anybody uses it, though. It's kind of a weird little hill that happened there. I think for this side, maybe instead of paths, we'll just do a couple rocks. I think that would look cool. Maybe we'll just do like 2. So I don't really know how having walking paths back here is going to work out, but I think if we do that and then some foliage, it'll probably look good. Yeah, there you go. I think that looks pretty good. And so now once these build in, it'll kind of clean up this area a little bit. But as you can see, our industrial demand has already gone way down. And it's just because of the way that we have everything set up. And so I think this is pretty good. I think we were on the precipice of a huge death wave. And so I think we might be going into it. We're losing population pretty quickly now. And so let's see. Oh, yeah, that one's good. Yeah, at least now we're not in some crazy need for offices anymore, and so we should balance out here in a second. We still have some empty residentials kind of sprinkled throughout the city, and so I think yeah, like this space has still got some empty areas. There's not a lot, but you can kind of see like these 2x4 residential areas. I think we do need to get yeah, we do need to get some low density residential again though. And so let's see what we're looking at. And unemployment 19%. You know, I think it's just because of that yellow industry. There's the problem with just using offices is it's more of a skilled position, and so by not having by not having the low uneducated workforces, it kind of creates some issues. And so I think we will come over here and do yeah, because we do have some. I think we're going to do a little bit of the specialized forestry industry because we do have some space over here for it. And because we can. Because we don't have any specialized forestry yet. And so we're going to try to do some on top of the trees, but then also some not on them so that we can get a good mixture of extractors. And we'll probably do one like right there. Let's go like right here. Now let's see if we can get some. I think that actually might be good enough right there. We'll just have to let the game run and see. Because I think we will end up losing population until our education levels out. Because we could also just do the education monument, which now that we are at Megapolis, it might be smart just to do the it offers education to citizens, a city with a hard drunk crowd. So we just need to do the Colossal Order office, and then we'll be able to do the Hadron Collider. And so let's see where I've just seen it. It's big, yeah, Colossal Order office. And so let's see if we can place this guy in somewhere. He doesn't have any noise pollution. Maybe right there, that could be good. Yeah, I think, you know what? I think that actually works out really well. Because our monorail goes right next to it. It's kind of a bigger building, but I think it fits in with this area. And so let's see now if we can do the... Oh, so we need the aquarium too. That's so funny. I forgot that it did the lists. We do have the aquarium though, and so we need to do the aquarium. And I'm really surprised because we have a ton of unique buildings. I really wasn't expecting to have to place a ton of them, and so I think the aquarium could look good right here. I do want to just do like a little bit of a road though, and I think I'm gonna just delete this rock guy. So we'll do like that, and then let's come back over here. Yeah, you know what? I think that looks pretty good. I think we'll move it out just a little bit farther this way. Maybe we'll... Maybe we'll use this road. I think this could look good. Yeah, you know what? I think that looks pretty good. And then I just want to put some trees and maybe some walking paths around it. Aquariums a lot have really, really nice areas around them. They're normally on the water, but not always. Been to aquariums in areas where they are not. Actually, one of the coolest aquariums I've been to was in Dallas, and Dallas is not very near the water. It's the Dallas World Aquarium. It was really cool though. They had a ton of animals. And then let's put some foliage in. I think that looks pretty good. So let's see what our next requirement is. The Grand Library. Really, we had. I mean, this is good. We have to do these anyways, and so. Okay, and so I think that's pretty good for this episode. We placed down the airport. We did a couple unique buildings. We definitely need to spend some time, probably on the next couple episodes, where we'll hunt down the unique buildings and try to reclaim all the ones that I lost. But it's fun. It's a big part of the end game is trying to hunt these down and come up with the requirements and stuff. And some of them are definitely hard, like I was saying with the Posh Mall. You pretty much have to destroy the city for a lot of them, and so yeah, like this one, all tax rates at most 4%, and so they're kind of hard to get. Their crime rate over 50%, 10,000 squares of office zone built, which we are coming up on, and then we're going to have to address our population issue because I think it has something to do with. It's kind of funny, this one's so not enough workers. Maybe it's not close enough to the people? Maybe we need to do, I think we may need to do like a metro line over here. Because I think when an area is too far, people won't drive to it. And so, because this one's all highly educated workers. And so that's kind of dumb. But what can you do? Maybe we'll come in here and just fill these in. Because we do need to do this specialized industry more. So I think this is going to work out really well if we do get these in here. But then it's also going to help create jobs for this side of the map. Especially, I think we are going to end up connecting this road up to over here somehow. Maybe we'll do like another little sky bridge to over here or something. But go ahead and let me know in the comments what you think about our new airports. Let me know if I missed anything, and I will catch you on the next episode. Thank you for watching.